The yearly meeting of the Religious Society of Friends in Britain, also known as the Britain Yearly Meeting, is a yearly meeting of the Religious Society of Friends in England, Scotland, Wales, the Channel Islands and the Isle of Man. It is the national organisation of Quakers living in Britain. History: Britain Yearly Meeting, which until 1995 was known as London Yearly Meeting, grew out of various national and regional meetings of Friends in the 1650s and 1660s and has met annually in some form since 1668. The first meeting of Friends from different parts of Britain to be organised was at Balby in Yorkshire in 1656. This consisted of representatives from each church in Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire to consider of such things as might be propounded unto them, and to inquire into the cause and matter of disorder, if any be. In 1660 was a meeting which was attended by representatives from Friends from the whole of Britain. At this meeting it was decided that an annual General Assembly of the Brethren be held in London annually, the first being held in 5th month 1661. For various reasons, this meeting was not held every year, although there has been a national annual meeting of some sort in Britain every year since 1668. At the General Meeting of Friends for the Nation in 1672, it was decided that there would be a General Meeting of Friends held in London once a year in the week called Whitsun Week, to consist of 6 Friends for the City of London, 3 from the City of Bristol, 2 for the town of Colchester and 1 or 2 from each and every of the counties of England and Wales respectively. This meeting was held in 1673, but from 1674 to 1677 consisted only of recorded ministers. The yearly meeting with representatives from each area as described above was restored in 1678, and has met on an annual basis every year since then. Participation in this yearly meeting was originally only men. In 1784, a yearly meeting for women was set up, which corresponded with equivalent yearly meetings for women in other countries, and corresponded with the monthly meetings for women and quarterly meetings for women in Britain. In 1898, London Yearly Meeting produced a minute stating that in future, women Friends are to be recognised as forming a constituent part of all our meetings for church affairs equally with the Brethren, and since then, women have had an equal right to attend London Yearly Meeting. The yearly meeting for women was laid down in 1907. In the 20th century, yearly meetings started to be held outside London, namely in Leeds in 1905, in Birmingham in 1908, in Manchester in 1912, in Clandrindrod, Wells in 1924, in Scarborough in 1925, in Manchester in 1926, in Bristol in 1937, in York in 1941 and in 1942, in Edinburgh in 1948. In 1945, London Yearly Meeting produced a minute stating that the yearly meeting should be held in 8th month outside London every 4 years. These 4 yearly meetings, which have become known as residential yearly meetings, have been held in Exeter in 1986, in Aberdeen in 1989, in Coventry in 1993, in Aberystwyth in 1997, in Exeter in 2001, in York in 2005, in York again in 2009, and in Canterbury in 2011. London Yearly Meeting in 1994 decided on a change of name to the Yearly Meeting of the Religious Society of Friends in Britain in 1994, with the short form being Britain Yearly Meeting. This name change came into effect at the start of 1995. Frichley General Meeting. Frichley Meeting in Derbyshire split off from London Yearly Meeting in 1868 because they felt that London Yearly Meeting was becoming too evangelical in its outlook. They also objected to Friends in London yearly meeting stopping the practices of plain speech and plain dress. They therefore established Fritchley General Meeting as a self-proclaimed yearly meeting for Conservative Friends in Britain, which existed as a separate yearly meeting entirely independent of London yearly meeting. Until 1968, Friends from Bourne-Brick in Birmingham also joined with Fritchley Friends for a few years, before emigrating to Saskatchewan in Canada. The separation was healed in 1968 with Fritchley Meeting rejoining London Yearly Meeting. Fritchley Quaker Meeting is now a full member of Britain Yearly Meeting, with a variety of theological outlooks amongst its membership. Organizational structure. Britain Yearly Meeting is the national organization of Quakers in Britain. Its membership consists of the members of all area Quaker meetings in England, Scotland, Wales, the Isle of Man, the Channel Islands. Any member of Britain Yearly Meeting is entitled to attend the yearly meeting. Between the annual sittings of yearly meeting as a whole, the national work of Quakers in Britain is carried out by Meeting for Sufferings and the various standing committees which are in existence at that time, each of which are made up of representatives and corresponds with each area Quaker meetings in Britain, and each area Quaker meeting likewise is made up of representatives and corresponds with local Quaker meetings. This correspondence and representation means that Quakers in Britain can have unified response on major issues. The organization has been recently restructured under proposals called recast, which were brought to yearly meeting in 2005. There are committees set up to deal with particular issues. Long-running committees consisting of representatives from all over Britain include Meeting for Sufferings, Quaker Life and Quaker Peace and Social Witness. There is also a permanent paid secretariat who work at Friends House in London, carrying out the work decided upon by the yearly meeting and its standing committees. Meeting for Sufferings is a national representative committee which deals with decisions which need to be made on a national basis for the yearly meeting during the year whilst yearly meeting is not in session. It has 2 representatives from each area Quaker meeting in England, Wales, Scotland, the Isle of Man and the Channel Islands. The General Meeting for Scotland is a member of the ecumenical organisation Action of Churches Together in Scotland. Britain Yearly Meeting currently has 4 national committees who carry out work at a national level on behalf of Friends in Britain. Each have both representative committees of Friends appointed by yearly meeting to oversee the work, and a paid secretariat to carry out the day-to-day work of each department. Quaker Life deals with the running of Quaker meetings within Britain, including outreach work within Britain, education and development for Quakers in Britain, activities for children and young people. Quaker Peace and Social Witness deals with Quakers' peace and development work, both in Britain and overseas. Quaker Communications deals with the production of leaflets, posters, pamphlets, books and a website. Quaker Committee on Christian and Interfaith Relations deals with relationships between Quakers and other Christian and faith groups. Britain Yearly Meeting assembles and publishes British Friends Book of Discipline, which since 1995 has been known as Quaker Faith and Practice. Yearly Meeting. Before 2009, 3 out of 4 yearly meetings of BYM were held at Friends House over one of the May bank holiday weekends, and once every 4 years a week-long residential meeting was held in the summer. In a change to this practice, the first yearly meeting gathering was held in York in 2009, with the 2010 yearly meeting being held at Friends House in London on May. The second YMG was held in Canterbury in 2011. A new 3-year rotation has been established with yearly meetings being held 2 years running at Friends House, and the 3rd year as a residential YMG. All types of issues are discussed in the standard fashion of Quaker decision-making. Among several lectures over the gathering, one of the highlights is known as the Swarthmore Lecture, relating to issues concerning Quakers. There is also an under-19s program, with activities tailored to each age group. Events for Young Quakers Under-19s program. The Under-19s program is held during the annual Britain Yearly Meeting and is attended by young Quakers aged 0 to 19, with appropriate age grouping. The program aims to provide young friends with an insight to Quaker beliefs and values, as well as providing a safe environment for relationship building within the society. Junior Yearly Meeting. Junior Yearly Meeting, commonly known as JYM, is an event for young Quakers aged 15 to 18. The annual event is normally held around the Easter holidays at the Pioneer Centre in Kidderminster, and coincides biennially with Yearly Meeting gathering in late July. It acts as a stepping stone for the transition from the Under-19s program into the Society of Friends. Transition Group. The Transition Group is a fairly new program for young friends aged 19 to early 20s who would still like to attend yearly gatherings, however, do not feel ready for the full adult program. Relationship with international friends. Britain Yearly Meeting participates in the International Religious Society of Friends through the Friends World Committee for consultation. Quakers are a highly decentralized denomination with a great degree of diversity in beliefs and practices. The faith and practice of British meetings resembles that of the Ireland, Canada, Australia and the US meetings affiliated with the Friends General Conference, and is characterized by unprogrammed worship and liberal to universalist theology.